What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fringe. The Liberals are in free fall. Now, we've covered Pierre Poilievre's rally numbers. We've talked about Mark Carney's tactics to use mirrors at certain events to make things look larger than they are. Of course, that's just a man who's not confident in his size, so to speak. Uh, Pardon the puns, but let's move forward here on Mark Carney and the Liberals. It's funny because we covered a video on the channel the other day about Pierre Poilievre with his rallies, with CTV reporters trying to take him down, other reporters trying to take him down, and the mainstream media panicking. Again, I ask the question, if the media are so confident in the current polling numbers, then why, oh why, are they trying so desperately to smear Pierre Poilievre and make sure that he gets no headway moving forward if they're so confident they're going to garner a win? Well, I'm here today to talk about one of those pollsters. And we've talked about the polls before. We've talked about how the polls are rigged, how they're essentially bought and paid for, and that people shouldn't believe them. We've also talked on live streams, and many of our viewers have even cited the same occurrence where in this household, we've received phone calls and been told, sorry, you don't fit the bill for this poll, and they hang up the phone. Again, polls only cover about 1,000 people, and it's usually in an area where their demographic suits their needs for what they need to put forward. So again, don't believe the polls, ladies and gentlemen. But it's important to say that as we move over to Twitter, and we look at the pleb here, posting out, Canadian pollster threatens Pierre Poilievre, saying he will do everything in his power to make sure he loses. And you believe these polls? Not me. I don't either. Here's Frank Graves putting out, a real conservative option is a healthy counterbalance in a healthy democracy. Pierre Poilievre is an acolyte of authoritarian populism. This is never healthy. You are on notice. Going to make sure. Here's where it's funny. We're going to make sure you are never going to lead my country. I don't make idle threats. Do you really want to be making threats in general on social media? I mean, I understand this isn't a physical threat. This is a guy who runs a polling company. I'm going to make sure you're never going to lead my country. Doesn't that sound like a lot of shenanigans are going to be at play here, ladies and gents? And then, of course, as you go down, the tweet has been deleted. Well, why would you delete a tweet if you're so steadfast in your statement there, Frank? Just, you'll have to excuse me. I find it humorous. I find it funny. But what's even more funny is that when we go to liberal rallies, again, Pierre Poilievre filling up massive stages, venues of over 6,000 people. People really get triggered when I say it's similar to MAGA rallies with Donald Trump, where there's standing room only. Now, while these rallies are not the size of Trump rallies, keep in mind, Trump rallies are usually 20, 30,000 people. Pierre's still drawing very, very good numbers in the thousands, 6,000, 4,000, 5,000, all around. Let's take a look at what happened in Winnipeg as Mark Carney was on a rally there. See if you notice something here. Let's play the video clip. See if you guys notice anything about this video clip. So it shows, oh, look at all these people. Look at all these people here on this video lined up for Mark Carney. Now, I want you to take note of this sign sitting right here. I believe this is the Winnipeg Convention Center. I could be wrong. Again, I grew up in Winnipeg. I believe it's the Winnipeg Convention Center. Again, if I'm wrong, you'll have to forgive me. I haven't been in the Winnipeg Convention Center in about 30 years. But look at this clip. They're looping it. They're looping the clip to make it look like, oh, look at these lineups. They just keep going and going and going. Look at all the people here to see Mark Carney. It's no different than the mirrors. They're trying to fool everyone into thinking Mark Carney has all of these supporters coming out to see him, coming out to talk with him, hear what he has to say, hear his propaganda, that they're buying into liberal rhetoric. And this is what we're left with. No mirrors here, ladies and gentlemen, just a looping video to massively confuse anybody who's like, oh my God, I better get out and support Mark Carney because, 12 other people are. This is where I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, we need to be vigilant. We need to make sure we continue our support to vote for Pierre in the election. If you're voting conservative, again, I'm not here to tell you who to vote for, but do yourself a favor. If you haven't registered yet to vote, I know I say it in every video, you guys are getting fed up, but I'm going to continue saying it until this election is up. Make sure you get your voter cards. Make sure you get out and vote, even if you're somebody who typically says, I don't feel like my vote matters. I don't feel that it does anything of power. This is the time to be proven wrong. This is the time to get out there, do your due diligence. Holy crap, my dyslexia kicks in there. Do your Canadian purpose and sign up. Go and vote. You have the right to exercise that right. Vote early if you have to. Make sure that when you're voting, they're checking identification properly. Make sure they're following all the rules. Hold our polling stations accountable in this next election. Many people say in the comments sections, Fringe, there's going to be trickery afoot. There's going to be ridings that split the vote, that try to find ways to give votes back, just as they did in other elections to Mark Carney. It's rigged. It's set up. Well, then go in, do your job as a Canadian, and make sure they're following the rules. Keep your eye on the prize, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're going to see a conservative majority after this election. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Do you think the Liberals are getting desperate? Do you think Mark Carney is going to flop harder than Kamala Harris? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. If it's your first time here, I hope this video has earned your subscription. Again, the censorship masses are out in full during election season. So if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, now's the time to join our large Fringe majority here on the channel. Also subscribe to all Canadian content producers that you follow for politics, as again, the Liberals are trying to make sure, much like this looped video, that there's only certain things you see when it comes to social media. Make sure you click your bell for all notifications so that you're notified whenever any content drops on this and said other channels. And also join me live here on the channel each and every Friday night for Friday Night Fringe, my live streaming show where I sit down with my beautiful wife, Mrs. Fringe, as we talk about everything that's happened this week in politics, everything we know that's coming up in the week ahead, as well as back and forth within the greatest YouTube community on the platform. I look forward to hearing what you have to say in those live streams, but I mostly look forward to hearing what you have to say this Friday night, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, here on the channel. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.